If you've already subscribed, please click the bell button for instant notifications of any new videos. Jarrett Lau here with Green Ocean Property Management. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about common lease renewal mistakes. What does that mean? When you own an investment property and you have a tenant in a lease, let's just say your lease ends August 31st, which is very common in the Boston area. One of the biggest mistakes that a landlord makes is only sending out that renewal or starting to talk to the tenants in advance of maybe 45, 30 days in advance. Maybe 60 for the majority of landlords. It's a huge mistake because you're not going to start early enough. And that allows you, especially in a bad market, to potentially not have the time to find the best tenants for you. With Green Ocean Property Management, we actually start 9 months in advance. And that allows us to be able to start at the top of the market, price you better out, and to be able to have a greater amount of people potentially looking at your property and puts the best tenant into your unit. You don't want to scramble and just take anybody at the end of the day. The second biggest mistake when it comes to a lease renewal is only talking about it verbally. And what I mean that is typically when you first do a lease, you have a written signed contract and it'll state all the terms and agreements, rules and regulations. But once that lease expires, again, August 31st, it goes to what is called a tenant at will. And if you don't redo that lease with all the new terms, what ends up happening is that that tenant can potentially leave with only a 30 days notice and you're not binded into a contract. And legally, they don't have those same rules and regulations that you once put into place. So you want to redo that entire lease. Every single year, we're going to do a lease extension with a renewal. Another huge mistake is that you don't walk through your unit prior to your lease renewal. We do our annual inspections typically around the holidays, December, January. And what ends up happening is we're going to walk through the property, we're going to check and see how the tenant's taking care of it. And if they're not taking good care of it, we're not going to renew them. Or we're going to at least sit down, talk to them about it, make sure they correct any issues, go back and re-inspect it before we offer that renewal. Now, another one, and this is probably the most important one for an investor, is that they do not increase the actual rents. That is a huge mistake when it comes to not doing a lease renewal. I hear everything like the tenants are easy, they don't complain. Sure, but you have to understand that you have expenses. Your expenses go up, your water, your taxes, everything, right? Everything goes up. Milk, the price of gas. Tenants are going to expect you to increase the rent. And when you don't, what ends up happening is that you set a very bad pattern. So when 2 years, 3 years, well, you didn't increase it last year. Again, you want to keep up with inflation at the very least. So make sure you're increasing your renewals. Those are probably my biggest top mistakes that a landlord makes when doing their renewals themselves or even having an outside real estate agent doing it. And I think the most important one that I think about is making sure that you have the market comparison to be able to do it. See what your market's like. If your market is stating that, the rent went up by $50, make sure you're marketing it by that, right? Listen to the market, stay with it. If the prices go down, same thing as well. But at the end of the day, know what the prices are like. If you or anyone else you know is looking for a property manager that can help you through the lease renewal process, to be able to guide you through it and to help you make more money, please think of Green Ocean Property Management, where you get more than a property manager, you get peace of mind.